Next game, the Saints beat the Colts 38-27. Derek Carr played great, 19-27, 310 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's putting together some really nice fantasy days here lately. A really solid, consistent option. Taysom Hill had had 2 passes, completed one of them for 44 yards, and he was also the leading rusher. 9 carries, 63 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. He has a level of upside that most tight ends do not. Definitely play like I don't think Taysom Hill is a lock it in. You play him every single week sort of tight end because he could just go on a bunch of streaks where he just gets you 2 points. But that upside is really nice. If you're just getting nothing at all from your tight end, you could just plug in Taysom Hill, and I would totally understand playing him every week under that circumstance. But if you have someone like Dalton Kincaid, clearly like Mark Andrews, Evan Ingram, you still want to play those guys. But Taysom Hill is just a tier below that. A little bit better than like the Dalton Schultzes and the Cole Kmets, in my opinion. Alvin Kamara is looking like an elite fantasy back because 17 carries, 59 yards, and a touchdown is awesome. But he also had 4 catches for 51 yards and a receiving touchdown. So just super elite stuff from Alvin Kamara. You're playing him every single week. Jamaal Williams just had the 6 carries for 30 yards. Kendre Miller had 3 carries for 10. And Derek Carr just had the 1 carry for -1. So drop Jamaal Williams if you still got him. Drop Kendre Miller. Alvin Kamara is looking spectacular right now. Rashid Shaheed, he is a huge sell high in my opinion because he's putting together a lot of spike weeks here recently. 3 catches, 153 yards, and a touchdown. Just phenomenal stuff. If you have him, I would sell him high because his stats up to this point have been really impressive. But you see it with just the 3 targets. I don't think this is sustainable. I think it's going to be a lot more up and down than this. Michael Thomas, 4 catches, 68 yards, continuing that 10-point every single week. I still think he's a drop in certain 10-team scenarios, but there are worse people to have on your bench. It's just I would prefer a little bit more upside out of my receivers in this because, I mean, 10 points is okay, but it's not going to win you your week. But it is like you got a lot of these receivers who will get you a floor of like 2 points, and Michael Thomas isn't going to get you that. At least we know 10 is coming, so there are some benefits to having Michael Thomas for sure. Chris Olave, 5 catches for 46 yards on 9 targets, led the team in targets. I still think he's a huge buy low at this point. Taysom Hill had the 1 catch for 14 yards, adding on to his huge rushing day. Just awesome stuff from him. Kendre Miller had a catch for 9. Jamaal Williams had a catch for 8. And Juwan Johnson coming back with just the 1 catch for 5. For the Colts, Gardner Minshew, he takes just enough chances to make himself fantasy relevant every single week. 23 of 41, 213 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. He's in that Geno Smith sort of like waiver wire ideally, but a really solid option at the same time. Just not like I think Dak Prescott is just a tier above him. Clearly, Trevor Lawrence is above that, but I think Gardner Minshew is in the mix with the Geno Smiths of the world. Jonathan Taylor, he looks phenomenal. 12 carries, 95 yards. The only issue is Zach Moss is also looking really good. 11 carries, 66 yards and a touchdown in a game where it didn't look like he was going to play. So both these guys are startable. It's just annoying because Jonathan Taylor, we know, could just be an absolute monster if Zach Moss wasn't playing this way. But I know Colts fans have to be excited seeing their rushing attack just absolutely dominate. Think about if they had Anthony Richardson as well with both of these running backs playing as well as they are, it would just be completely unstoppable. The future is very bright for the Colts, for sure. Josh Downs, speaking of future, 7 catches, 72 yards for the rookie from North Carolina, 9 targets. He's looking like a really safe every week start. A great floor play, if nothing else. Like, he is an obvious add, but I think after last week, most people already added him. Alec Pierce, 3 catches, 41 yards on 5 targets. He's not rosterable because Michael Pittman, 8 catches, 40 yards, a touchdown, led the team in targets, led the team in catches, 13 targets. He was guarded by Marshawn Lattimore in this one, so that really helped out Josh Downs. But if he doesn't have an elite corner on him, Michael Pittman is a really great start. And even this is 18 points. We will absolutely take this. Awesome stuff from Michael Pittman. It feels like his reputation is below what his output is. Like he's a better fantasy player than most people perceive him, it feels like. So it'd be interesting, like, if you can I don't want to call him a buy low because he's like performing like crazy, but surely the Michael Pittman, the guy who has Michael Pittman in your league, maybe there's some deal in there. You'll just have to check that out because I've heard of some crazy offers with Michael Pittman getting involved as like a throw-in, like not a total throw-in, but like people just aren't giving him the huge number one receiver regard that he deserves. Drew Ogletree, one catch, 33 yards and a touchdown. I played him last week and got absolutely nothing, so just don't play any Colts tight ends. Mo Alley Cox also had a catch for 11 yards. Zach Moss just had the one catch for 8. Jonathan Taylor had a catch for 2. Will Mallory just had the catch for 6. And Juwan Winfrey did not haul in his only target. So these Colts tight ends, maybe Kylan Granson when he comes back, but in the meantime, none of them are playable because all of them just got the one catch in this one. Like super almost identical output. So clearly you're not playing the Colts tight ends, but there are a lot of options as far as fantasy players on the Colts. You got Downs, Pittman, Moss, Taylor are all going to be in lineups, and Minshew is a really solid matchup play.